Hi readers, welcome back. I hope you guys have enjoyed so far what we've done in reading. I know reading fantasy for some of you isn't something that you typically do, and maybe you were a little upset at the beginning, but I hope that from what I've heard, it sounds like you guys really are enjoying the books that you're reading. So I hope that you've enjoyed the type of work that we've done. I've tried to keep it simple enough that you guys can do at home, but also enough to where you're really having to think about these complex texts. So I hope that you guys have been enjoying the reading work so far. Today's session 5, and it's called Reflecting on Learning. It's going to look a little different today because typically when we do a lot of reflections, we give you guys a chance to talk to each other about it and shout out some ideas or just kind of build off of each other's ideas. Obviously, we can't do that here, so it's going to look a little different. You're going to be doing the work independently. You might ask a neighbor, or not a neighbor, obviously, a friend. Maybe you have a friend you want to chat with or a parent that you can chat with. Or maybe you're just going to be able to do this on your own, and that's fine too. So again, today is called Reflecting on Learning. So the first thing that I want to do though is I want to take a look at some of our proficient models of work so far. We've talked about theme, we've talked about character traits. Gosh, it feels like forever since we talked about like setting and all of that. So we've done a lot of talking and working, making a lot of bulleted lists and just jotting down some ideas. This week, or maybe it was early last week, you guys had a lesson where you had to write out your work in a well-developed paragraph, and that's what we were expecting from you. We're gonna look at some proficient models. While I'm showing you these, I want you to be thinking, does my work look like what I see on the screen? Okay, so again, while you're looking at these proficient models, I want you to be thinking, does the work that I have been doing compare or look like the work that Ms. McMullen is showing up on the screen right now? Okay, so let's look at the first one. This person had to answer this question, which was, how is this part of the story important to the whole? So this was the question that this person got. And here's what this person wrote. I think that this part of the story is important because it introduces the main characters, Mittens and Queen Arabella. It's also important because it shows that Mittens loves Queen Arabella and is loyal. Mittens says that he plans to spend the rest of my life helping her plot, but then he ends up leaving her a little later in the story. So obviously this isn't one of the ones that you guys are reading. This is from a previous year, a proficient model from a previous year, this one is. But a few things that I want you guys to be noticing. Notice how all of these are complete sentences. I don't see any bulleted lists. I don't see any one word jotted down things, okay? I see a lot of description. I see that the little things, I see capital letters where they belong. I see punctuation where they belong. And it just seems to flow, and it also answers the question. They are using words to answer the question. I think this part of the story is important because it's introducing the main characters. So they were asked, like, why is this part important? Why did the author put this part in the story? And their answer was, well, it's introducing our main characters to us, and that's why it's important. We need to know about our main characters. So be thinking right now, has the work that, I know that we haven't answered this question specifically, but think about the work that you've done on your slides. Does it look like this? Is it incomplete sentences? Is there multiple sentences? This person wrote 1, 2, 3, 4 sentences to answer this one question. Have you been doing that? There's capital letters where they belong. Have you been doing that? So be thinking right now, yes, my work looks pretty similar to this, or no, there's a few things I see on here that this person did that I haven't been doing, and that's okay. That's why we're doing today's lesson. Here's another proficient model. The question this person was asked was, what themes are especially important in this story? Provide evidence to support your ideas. Bella, sorry, someone's walking their dog outside, and Bella, can you see her? She's growling because she has to protect her house, even though we're very safe. She's very concerned with that person walking down the street. Okay, so back to this one. What themes are especially important in this story? So this person was asked to talk about the themes, and I know we just did this previously, so you should have a little bit of idea on what you did. So this person wrote, one life lesson or theme that's especially important is that it's important to have determination. For example, Mittens is determined to return to Queen Arabella, and when he meets the scary Bumblesnook, he is tough and challenges it. When he gets stuck in the fence, he pushes through. Mittens also shows that loyalty is important. He learns to think more about Arabella than himself near the end of the story. He wishes for her safety and happiness. So a few things I'm noticing here. I love the transition words that this person is using. One life lesson that's important is. For example, Mittens also shows. Okay, so those are some transition words that they're using to kind of flow their writing along. Another thing that they did was they took their theme and they told me why. So their theme is, it's important to have determination, and they told me why. Because Mittens is determined. Here's a spot where he is determined, and this is why I thought that, okay? And also here, when he gets stuck on the fence, he pushes through. So it's important to have that determination. And then they told me that loyalty is important, and they told me why. Well, because he thinks more about her than he does himself, and that's why it's important to have loyalty, okay? So today your work is going to be reflect on how your previous work, so anything that you've done in this unit already, does it compare to the models that you saw? Does your work look similar to what I just showed you? Or does your work look different to what I just showed you? And what is different about your work if it is different? And then for our reflection today, we're gonna set some goals for our future work. How do you wanna become a better reader or thinker of complex text? Here's how it's gonna look. On your slides today, this is what your work time looks like. Here's the first question. Reflect on how your previous work compares to the models. Does your work look similar, different? What's different about your work? So here's where I want you to just do a journal entry. My work looks the same as what Ms. McMullen has showed. I have been using complete sentences. I've been explaining everything that I've written with evidence and details from the text. I've been using transition words. I've been capitalizing where I need to be. Or maybe yours looks different. Maybe you're gonna write something today like, my work looks different than what Ms. McMullen showed. I've been writing in phrases rather than sentences, or I'm just writing out like one word and then moving on. And maybe I'm not putting enough effort in because my work looks very different than what she showed. So just do a quick journal entry today. I'm expecting a couple sentences. I really wanna see what you guys think about your work, okay? So please don't write, my work looks the same, and move on, or mine's different and move on. Really be thinking about why does your work look the same, or why does your work look different? Okay, it's a reflection today. You really have to dig deep into yourself, okay, and look at your work and try to really think about it. For your reflection today, it says set some goals for your future work. How do you want to become a better reader or thinker of complex text? On here, you can make a bulleted list if you want. You can write it out in paragraph form if you want. That's totally up to you. But I want you to be thinking like, what are you gonna do in the future and for the rest of this unit to become a better reader or thinker? Maybe your goal is going to be, I'm gonna listen to my read alouds twice, like 2 times each day, to make sure that I'm catching every detail. Or maybe your goal today, a goal for your future work is, I'm gonna work on writing out all of my work in complete sentences from now on for Ms. McMullen. Or a goal that you might have is, I'm gonna make sure I give 2 details for everything that I state. Okay, so 2 details from the text for everything that I'm explaining. Or maybe something else. You guys don't have to use the examples that I just gave, but if you're stuck, rewatch the last like minute of this video because I did just give 3 examples for you, okay? You don't have to use those examples, but if you're stuck, you can, okay? So just to recap today, you are reflecting on your work. Does it compare to the proficient models that I just showed you, okay? And you're reflecting on all of your work, all of the work that you've done in the past, okay? And then set some goals for your future work for the rest of this unit. How do you want to become a better reader and thinker, okay? I wanna see some complete sentences today. I want to see some really deep reflections today. Really be thinking about your work. What type of learner have you been doing? Have you been at home? Have you been the type of learner and thinker that you are in school? And does that show in your work? Okay, so be honest today. There's no right or wrong answers. Just really dive deep into yourself today for a reflection, okay? All right, I can't wait to see what you guys say. You guys have been working really hard. Really try to think of a way that you can become a better reader. Remember, that's what we always want from you, okay? Everyone can be a little bit better, okay? So try to think of something. If you're stuck, ask me, all right? Bye-bye, guys.